Good night, good night, good night. How are things?
Things are good, so seems like we're on time for episode number four.
Yeah, four already?
Four? Nah, I think we're still on three.
You're rushing the brush, man. Well, tonight we have Christian on board, Audio Rose Pro. If you don't know Christian and you're in the local videography, cinematography industry, then you have some homework to do because we have a veteran among us tonight.
Nice.
I know he's a humble guy, but at the same time, he's seeing things, he doing things. Um, but before we get into the full interview, I know usually we would want to start off with a little bit of gear talk. Rani, I know you had some stuff you wanted to throw on us. You are the official Nikon ambassador in the G.A.S crew. Uh, and well, we don't have Sion and Owen on tonight, Mr. Profoto and Adato Studios. But we still on. We here to represent the G.A.S crew. And we have Kyle in the background. Yeah, Sean, gear talk tonight. Tomorrow she finally in early. Or I think she was in early last week too. But yeah, we're on tonight. Christian,
Definitely.
anything? I mean, I seen Christian here. He probably wouldn't say much just yet. Well, I'll meet you there. Oh no, you have to unmute
Oh, yeah,
Christian.
sorry. I'm not
Yeah.
saying no, nothing on my head.
Oh, well, in the aspect of gear,
All right, all
just
right.
had two
But
quick
hey,
updates.
go.
The updates will be basically Sigma will be having an event on February the 9th. The fact that Sigma is even
Oh,
pushing out this
serious.
event means that they have at least plenty lenses to drop. And for those who are waiting for Nikon lenses from Sigma Z mount, that's rumored to happen. For those who have the Canon RF
Serious.
and can't buy L glass or any glass with a little red ring around it, yeah, Sigma coming through to help you out. But apart from that, the only other important thing I would
Yeah,
say
that's gonna be
gas
great because
related is
yeah, go ahead.
basically Nikon and Canon looking to raise prices across the board. So that pandemic money needs to be made back. So my advice, if you have any gear
Why
that you need to
though?
buy
I mean,
now,
oh gosh, we
inflation, people have to make back their profits from their losses. So this is just how
Yeah,
the game
but
is, and we as photographers have to adapt. Cinematographers, artists have to adapt. Not because a pandemic happened
I
means that you
mean,
have to
how
give
long
away
now?
everything. Hmm?
you expect
And
the
then
prices to go down?
that's what I'm saying. So this is just part of life, and if you was charging 1,500 before for a wedding, you might have to charge 1,600 now. But yeah, so that is all for the gear talk now.
No get to come, Conrad.
Conrad, you hear me? Hello? Like Conrad get cut
All
out
right,
there.
we getting a little glitch in. Yeah, I'm hearing you. I have the usual internet problem. I don't know. We had to talk to B Mobile or Digicel and see if they could sponsor us or Flow. Yeah, I think we had to talk to Flow.
You wicked man.
You all hear me at all?
Yeah, we hearing you now. Seems like you're having
All
a
right.
delay
I
still.
hope the stream start to catch up because again the oh damn it man. How bad is the delay?
Seems like it's on time now.
All right, great. Um, well, again, you kind of covered it there for gear, but nothing about the Z9 this week. I mean, they didn't get some award or the other thing this
Well, I
week.
mean, I
Nothing,
don't view
Rani.
those
You bashful
awards
this week?
as anything that significant because every year somebody's just gonna get an award. At the end of the day, it matters about what you
True.
have in your hand, and I think Nikon has
Facts.
delivered, and everybody knows that.
Facts.
Nobody had nothing to say, and yeah, we're just looking forward to the third generation of Nikon mirrorless cameras. But yeah,
All right, fair, 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 fair. All right, so I guess seeing as we don't have much gear talk this week, we could kind of dive straight into it.
definitely.
Yeah. So again, we have Christian Burkett of Audio Rose. He also is a Steadicam operator, cinematographer, director of photography, And well, he has to tell us some more about, because if you look at his Instagram profile, see Burkett 959, or if you check out Audio Rose Pro, you'd realize that this dude is talented. You're not just talking about one or two things. He does almost everything in the industry you could think about.
One man
So I
band.
mean, yeah, a one man band. I don't know how he does do it. Sometimes I just hear Christian. He was on a shoot this morning, and he was in a shoot this afternoon, and he have a next one in the morning, and he's still holding on a full time job.
Time management. Time management.
Nice, nice.
That's
You had
been
to share some
my
secrets.
key. I mean, yeah, as Conrad said, I definitely wear a lot of hats. And it all started with where my background came. Where I came from an audio background. Started as a DJ, became an audio engineer, and I studied music, well, sound engineering and music business at Full Sail University. Graduated from there, came back home, and I was doing a little bit of engineering, well, on the music side of things. And wasn't working out for me financially, being a new engineer in the space at the time. So I kind of got myself stuck in a corporate space. But I didn't have my own studio at the time. I was just kind of doing things out of a friend's studio. Actually, Brian Regis and Michael Blackman, the light recording studio. I started off working there. And from there, I got into event management with a company called Event Architects Limited. So was doing event management from a technical standpoint, and with a focus on audio. So we would do a lot of concerts and that kind of stuff. So when they had international acts, I would have been the liaison between international engineers and the local teams and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I started off in entertainment, doing that kind of stuff. And then from there, had an opportunity. It's actually my dad. My dad just watched my dad, and he's like, Christian, you spend all this money going to school, and like you have all this talent, and you don't have a studio. What you're really doing? And I was like,
shout out to Pops.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I don't know, the music thing wasn't working for me. And he's like, yeah, but you're getting corporate job, so take it a little more serious. I mean, I know events were cool. Like I love I love taking part in events and putting on events, and especially working with engineers, especially the foreign ones, and learning from them. So started a studio and got very heavy into the corporate space, doing jingles, production, radio imaging, that kind of stuff. From there, I had an opportunity to be an audio engineer at a television station, Flow Sports, which is where I'm currently working. So started working at Flow Sports and got through from the frying pan literally into the fire within 3 months of being there. So the station started off with a very small staff skeleton crew, and they came in. I was one of a team of. I learned editing because I kind of knew a little bit of editing from school days and that kind of stuff. I had iMovie on my computer, and I just used to play around with it and like make personal videos and like help my friends edit videos and kind of stuff. So I just kind of had a thing for editing. And then while I was at the station, because the station was in construction when I got there, so this audio room wasn't ready and that kind of stuff. So I just was like, I wasn't doing anything. So I asked a guy, like, teach me how to edit because I like it. And I always see these programs. So just, teach me a couple things. And that's how I got into it. So I was just editing like simple programs, like cutting it up top and tail and stuff. And then I got an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl as a camera operator.
How? We had a cut here. How? You're going too fast.
So the story that happened was that we were both. So I was sitting in the edit room with my editor at the time, a guy Kevon as well. And Kevon and I were editing some programs for the TV station. And our boss comes in and he's like, okay, Kevon, we need you to go to the Super Bowl. And he's like, where is it? And he's like, California. And Kevon is like, I don't know if I want to go. And he was hemming and hawing and And then they were like, all right, Christian, you know anything about a camera? And I was like, well, yeah, what camera it is? So he's like, the Sony FS7. And I'm like, and at the time, it was like 2016 FS7 Mark I just came out. I knew nothing about cameras other than So I knew that I knew about Sony cameras because Bigger Montage Productions, Romano Francois.
Big
Um,
man.
I
Big
I
names.
I called Romano because I used to do audio work on the side for Romano and they sometimes on some of the projects. So I called
Right.
Romano and I'm like, Mano, there is a project that I have to go on in California, the Super Bowl, and they want me to use a FS7. You could teach me how to use this camera. Mano was like, you have a FS7? Bring it now. Get to the office, show him the camera. He's like, okay, bro, this is what you need to know and figure it out. So I went through basically camera boot camp to learn how to use this FS7 after never even using I haven't even used a
A
DSLR
TQI
in
or
my
nothing. A
life.
basic.
Like
Yeah.
nothing,
That was a
Wow.
classic example of fake it till you make it.
Wow.
And I went to the Super Bowl. I do have a story. I got an interview with Snoop Dogg. I double tap record.
You
It never
lie.
happened again.
You
Boy,
lie.
yeah,
Snoop?
it
Snoop?
was.
For shizzle?
Yeah, Snoop. I
Wait.
missed it. I dropped the ball. I mean, it was something. My boss at the time, he didn't even care about it. He didn't want the interview, and I was like, "Listen, Snoop." He's like, "This is it. We broadcast into the Caribbean. We need to get Snoop."
Yeah.
And Snoop agreed to the interview, got it. It was a great interview. Nobody ever
Right.
said I'm gonna look for the footage. I think it's still there on the system.
Please.
And I literally see me like 3, 2, 1, double tap, and then you hear
Yeah.
tap, thanks Snoop, and then knees. Like I will never.
Wait.
Yeah, it was the funny, but I learned from the experience.
You serious? I can't believe
so-
that, man.
So from there, that's kind of where I fell in love with cameras. So being at the Super Bowl and being within the bowels of the productions, that was actually my first of 4 Super Bowls that I attended as a part of a contingent that went to from Trinidad to cover the Caribbean side of the Super Bowl because there are a lot of players with Caribbean heritage that play in the NFL. So we go to give a little bit of a different perspective
Right,
to
right.
what the general coverage is from
Wow.
like the other TV stations. So that's kind of where my love for cameras started, learning, like watching all these different things happen. And I'm like, okay, I need to know about this. Like audio is cool, but this is cooler.
Wait, Christian, hold on. This is his first. I mean, how many minutes?
30 minutes already?
Yeah, it's going too
Yeah, enough
fast.
time more.
Too fast. This man reached 4 Super Bowl. Snoop Dogg. He one of the first men to touch FS7 in the country, ahead of one of the best local camera guys, operators, producers, Romanos. Shout out to Romano, Mano.
Still one of the best. I still like.
Still.
These are guys that I still talk to and like
Yeah.
I get every time I do
Amazing.
work, I talk to these guys and try to get a reference.
Yeah.
Because I am where I am because of a lot of good opportunities. I was really in the
Facts.
right place at the right time. Like even me getting the job at Flow, I was working on another event and then got
Wow.
called to an event that Flow was working on, and then I ended up in a conversation that put me there. They were like, "Okay, I think you know what's going on. So would you be interested in coming to see this station?" And then it turned into, "Would you be interested in working?"
Jeez.
Yeah, so
Timing is everything, boy.
it was really I'm really a product of being in the right place at the right time and just sucking everything in that as I possibly can, learning and just developing from there. And I love to learn. Like I'm a big nerd.
But I just want to ask, I mean, guys, you're viewing from home, you're probably listening. Please share. I mean, this man going on break down so much information you don't readily get. We beg him to come on. He said yes. Please
Like,
share.
subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe, fine. But share. You see that share? Because the more people that absorb this kind of information is the more the industry could grow. You don't oftentimes get to hear straight from the horse's mouth how they did it, what they did. You just don't. So again, don't be greedy. Share it with your peeps. Make sure everybody gets in. Definitely Christian Burkett is one of the big guys in the industry. He dropped some names already. Mano. He talked about the Super Bowl. I didn't even think we had
No, here's the funny story, right? So
Go
at
ahead.
the time of
Take
the
it away.
Super
Take it
Bowl,
away.
I was
Uh-huh.
still a DJ, right? I was part of a DJ group called Rapid Response, and I was still DJing, and I get the call, and Super Bowl had clashed that year. Would have been Carnival Sunday. It was Super Bowl 50, it was the 50th anniversary of the Super Bowl, and it was Carnival Sunday, and I would have probably missed Carnival being Monday and Tuesday. So I called my dad, who's heavily involved in the carnival industry, and I'm like, Dad, Super Bowl, like, should I go? And he's like, Christian, how many trainees you know ever went to a Super
Exactly.
Bowl? I'm
That's
like,
not even a
none. He's like, all
question,
right, then you
boy.
have your answer. 'Cause if I
I'm
end
not
up like
playing long
I
time.
stayed in Trinidad and like be a DJ or like, but no, I was I had but it was a very fast learning curve for me. It I,
Wait.
yeah.
Hey, that dude. Go ahead. Take it away. So from the Super Bowl, you
Right.
picked up cameras.
So I
Talk to
picked
me.
up
What
cameras.
happened?
That was in 2016. I
That's
came
just the
back
other
home,
day.
continued. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the first
that
time
is
I was an audio engineer until 2016.
Christian,
Like,
that is just the other day.
I
That's
swear the man
what
I
telling me
thought
a
you knew
little
this.
10 years ago or
Like I
something.
really thought
you
you like,
understand? I swear this man come out of the womb with a camcorder on his shoulder. What the jail? Alright,
yeah.
because I know he young. So, tell us, go ahead, take it away.
So yeah, so I came back home. I got back. So the camera that belonged to the station. So then I looked. It was at Olympic year as well, 2016. So there were a series. Flow at the time was involved with the TTO, and we're doing projects with like Andrew Lewis and a lot of the athletes and that kind of stuff. So I got opportunities to go on shoots and that kind of stuff. So continuing to use the camera and learning more. And then the University of YouTube kicked in. And that April, I attended my first Jamaica Carnival. At the time, there was a guy that I worked with back in the day, Chad Culpepper. Chad, he used to work with Romano back in the day, but Chad
Right.
used to do videography for Exodus, the Carnival band in Jamaica. I went to
Okay.
Jamaica and on transit through the US at the time. I was like, maybe I'll buy a little camera and try to figure out something. So I started doing some research, talking to the guys.
Right.
Around that time is when I got introduced to Captain Plex, another person who's been very instrumental in
Plex is our
my
boss.
development as a cameraman. And between Captain Plex and my current business partner, Mervyn John, who is
Boss.
anybody who's worked in broadcast would know of Mervyn. Mervyn and Plex started giving me advice on like different things about cameras, and decided on a camera. At the time, the Sony A6300 was just about out. It had just came out.
Right.
And decided, I was like, you know what, let me just go for it. Took a hit,
Right.
bought the camera, went to Jamaica, got some pointers from Chad and some of the other cinematographers I was working with the band at Exodus. And from there, I just kept going deeper into the rabbit hole. There was more. And just being in the space of being in flow allowed me a lot of production opportunities, which is why my studio, which at the time Audio Rose was in existence since 2013, but
Right.
Audio Rose was just a recording studio. I converted it into, I changed my registration and everything, and I became Audio Rose Limited, but treating
Right.
as Audio Rose Production. So that's when I decided, you know what, I always said to myself that I never wanted Audio Rose to be a studio. I wanted it to be a multimedia production company. And
Nice.
that's what I always did. So I always made it a space that if you wanted to come, anything that you did, it was a comfortable space. So I had people come do listen sessions, people come and just use a different space to edit videos, because I had all the software. I had Adobe, I had Final Cut, I had all the stuff. I didn't know how to use a lot of it, like besides the audio stuff, but I just wanted a space for creatives to be able to come. And I did have, it was mostly music stuff, but I had guys come and do other things there. and facilitate, other projects other than just music projects. So I always felt like media needed to be all encompassing. So I just made the transition holistically, for my company. So yeah, so just came back from the Super Bowl and just got deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, and the A63 led to me acquiring an FS 700, and then from the FS Odyssey coming. Yeah, because being around guys like Roman, one of those guys, like I come in with a DSLR, a mirrorless DSLR, and them guys out here like this, and I'm like, I want to look like that. And it worked also in the corporate space. So understanding the corporate mentality, because when when I have time off on weekends and that kind of stuff, I was able to do external projects and that kind of stuff outside of I would moonlight and do some things. So learning doing corporate jobs on the weekends and that kind of stuff, and whenever I had time off and that kind of stuff, is where I realized that sometimes in the corporate world, the clients just want to see what they're paying for. And I mean, we know as camera operators and photographers, and it's not sometimes about the images, about what's behind the camera. So what's going on in your head, how you see things, shifting your body a little bit to the left gives you a completely different perspective. Like it's just looking for things, and not another person who's been very instrumental in me becoming an operator, Gabriel Naji. One of the first things, because I knew Gabe from before as a partner. Like I used to line with Gabe and Mervin, because Mervin and Gabe worked together in TV. But Mervin is my best friend. So when I line with everybody, so line with Gabe and Yan and everybody in that whole squad from the TV, from back in the days, I just end up in situations where I would learn, and I would always try to get information from these guys. They're like, why you do this? Why you do that? And like, best piece of advice Gabe ever told me is, do stick your head down if you find out. The beauty is looking away from it, because when and I tell this to some of the younger guys that work with me, like, yes, look at if you find out, make sure you're in focus, make sure you're doing what you're doing, but the beauty is looking outside of it. So when people stuck inside of here focusing on that one shot, I looking ahead. If I have a shot, I hold in my shot. If you know how to shoot, you go hold a shot no matter what. So look outside, look outside if you find see what else is there. And that's how, I think that's where I try to be a little bit different, as opposed to just be, you find out. But like, you can't keep your head down and see it. And I learned that from even being a DJ. A lot of DJs stick their head in the laptop and they're looking at their laptop and performing to their laptop on themselves. But if you don't look over your laptop and see what how the crowd is reacting, you don't know how to move. So it's the same thing. Like, as a camera person, you have to anticipate the mood of your subjects and these things. So that was just one of the things that Gabe especially always implanted in me. Just to get stuck inside of there, like, look away. That's where the keys are.
That's crazy. This is, I mean, if we just look in the comments, you're hearing people saying big names. It's just stalwarts in the industry. You're seeing Sean say out of my depth.
I agree with him too.
I mean, Christian, if somebody, like how Sean say out of my depth, what would you tell that person? Is it reachable?
I try to understand what does he mean by it's out of his depth. Like, I never felt like anything. I mean, I always had a yearn to learn, and I always did. But it's like, I feel like if you think that something is out of your depth, you put yourself in a box and you don't allow yourself to even realize why. Better you try and fail to try. So I try to understand, what exactly do you mean by it's out of your depth? Nothing is out of anybody's depth. I always tell myself, like, I have so much respect for you guys. Like, because if you put me to take a still photo, I feel like I will always feel, but it hasn't stopped me from trying. And when I try, I'll always ask my friends, okay, what did I do wrong here? And so it's don't feel like it's out of your depth. And nothing I would ever say is out of anybody's depth. Just try it. And if you do, try a different approach. Like everybody's methodology to learn is different. So if that way didn't work, try a different way. Like especially if you love what you're doing, and I love what I do.
Just to bring it back a little bit, you mentioned Jamaica Carnival. How does Jamaica? I mean, you and I have spoken before, but how does Jamaica production differ from Trinidad, or is there a difference at all to even note?
Like production wise.
Well, you said you went Carnival. On any level in comparison, just comparisons.
So Jamaica Carnival as a holistic product, it's different to Trinidad Carnival. I mean, it's the road is there are a lot of behind the scenes technicalities that happen to even just make that happen. It's not like they don't close the road, so you're basically fighting time to get from point A to point B. Like it's not a Jamaica's triple our population, and Jamaica Carnival happens in a very small space in comparison to what we take part in.
I never knew that.
The bands are huge, yes, but it's a completely different experience to Trinidad Carnival. So from that, I did eventually get the opportunity the next year to become part of the crew for the Jamaica Carnival road coverage, and then continued with that until it was 3 years. So I did the first year, became part of the crew the second year, and then the third year I did one of the productions, did produce two videos for it. So
when you say productions, Carnival productions?
I mean, like video, like Carnival. I did two of their. So I did a post road edit the Saturday day after the road was Sunday. Gave them a video the Monday, and then I did one just as a throwback because we weren't sure that was happened when the pandemic happened, so we weren't sure how it went. So on road march day, which is what they would call Carnival Day, I just did a video for them to post. But it was the difference in production is, so me working at the Super Bowl made me have to develop way faster than what I would consider the average development is. So I think my Super Bowl experience is really what is why I'm here right now.
Like a catapult.
Because never having used a camera, going with the FS, and I'm going up escalators and guys are watching me. Like I talk about men with AGX cameras and all kind of crazy Sony and Panasonic and JVC like broadcast cameras, and watching me with my little FS7 and be like, yo, cool camera, dude. Yo, where you from? And and also being from the Caribbean, I became a talking point. So I was able to. So the first year, it was. The second year, through practice and development, I started realizing, okay, there are different things, and how do I make my production experience easier? So I used to go, the first year I went to the Super Bowl, we went to the FS. The second year, it was just the FS and a stock lens. The second year, we built a kit because we wanted to go and do a little bit more coverage practices and that kind of stuff. So I had long lenses, a set of primes, plus the kit lens. Like it was a different production because of how we were trying to attack the production. I became more capable as a cameraman, but I'm already going to Houston for a week and a half, plus a camera kit. It became very cumbersome, so you have to manage your energy, just even getting there, and then you're working. You get up in the morning at 6 or earlier. You go to practices, you go to press conferences, and press conferences run the entire day, and then you finish their cultural activities in the night. And because we're going from a Caribbean perspective, you have to go look for stories about Caribbean people, Caribbean restaurants, that kind of stuff. So it became very. I had to learn fast, and I had to figure out how to make that experience easier. And that's when I started learning about rental houses, big up in affordable imports, like guys. Conrad, you are
Ooh.
doing a great thing. And
I
and
appreciate
coming
that.
from someone, because after my second Super Bowl, I stopped traveling with gear. My last Jamaica Carnival, I went with cards and a Odyssey.
I know
A
what, sorry?
what?
The C7 QR recorder.
Oh,
Like
the
it's like a
back.
Shogun, you know the
The
Shogun,
back
but
end.
Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went because I back when I used to shoot Sony, I used to shoot the road at 240 frames. Carnival Trinidad, Carnival is just I shot the entire road at 240 frames per second.
How much storage is that though?
2 terabytes a day. And
And
I would
they,
dump at lunchtime.
wow.
So yeah, like more
Jeez.
than 2 terabytes. Like I would dump a card while and then shoot with a card. So I would have people like my last road I had people dump. I had a production assistant literally just on the truck dumping cards as we go
Wow.
throughout the day.
What you call that role
Yeah.
again? The guys who has
I
managed
called
the
him a
card.
production assistant.
Okay.
That's crazy. My head
But
wasn't just thinking about dumping 2 terabytes a day. Like, nah, boy.
yeah, it was a task. It was hard because we were dumping on one card, we were dumping trying to dump 2 of the terabyte cards, and it was it was so much hype that I had to run to to my office at Flow because I had a faster machine there, and like I in my Carnival
Jeez.
costume and swipe my card and put this card to copy while I taking a nap on the floor and pull the card and run
Way.
back to meet the band, and like the band left, so I met them in
Mm.
transit and dropped and like just swap cards and went back by floor and catch the band down at it was listen, I've had
Crazy.
some crazy carnival experiences. But back to the Super Bowl thing, it was just I stopped traveling with big gear because I would be going into the Super Bowl, and when you're collecting your passes, Sony, Canon, Nikon all have offices at the Super Bowl. And
Right.
guys rent. And they just walk in there, pick up the camera bodies, pick up the lenses, pick up the recording media, everything that they need,
Nice.
and just leave. I
Nice.
stopped because and that's what it is. I mean, in Trinidad, we have everybody who's in the industry are mostly owner operators,
Correct.
and in the US, it's not like I have friends who are in the industry and doing well. People that I've met in the industry and are doing very well and doing great things, and they don't even own a camera, and they haven't owned cameras
In
in
years.
years.
Wow.
So this is why, like Conrad, I will always keep saying, and I speak your praises to everyone that I say. What you're doing is amazing, and your
I appreciate it,
prices.
man.
If anybody, I can tell you as someone who's traveled and travels with and rents gear outside all the time, Conrad prices are up to mark and sometimes even lower than what you pay at rental houses away. And that is where I feel like I want people to start doing like start picking up things more, because if we talk about like you buying gear and like
Right.
using stuff, and I love using things, but I've never, since the A63 was the last piece of equipment that I bought that I didn't use before. Every other piece of equipment that I own currently now,
You rented before.
I have rented, used, borrowed. Like I want to know what this does before I
you throw your
put
money
it
at it.
in my hand, because yeah, I know I'm not taking them risks, especially when you spoke about the prices of equipment now. It's ridiculous.
hard.
So like you don't want to
Yeah.
spend some money on something and you don't know what you're getting. So
Correct.
I physically do tons of research before I do anything purchase, right?
I think all of us in the industry locally, especially because of the limitations, the lack of vendor. I mean, I'm one of the vendors, but the lack of options for vendors and actual equipment, it makes it a little difficult. So yeah, definitely rentals are a way to try out before you buy. But
Yeah.
I don't want to plug affordable imports too much
Price
because
hike.
I mean,
Boy.
Christian, you are the guy on show tonight, right?
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Sorry.
We just hear no, I appreciate, but just I mean, Sean mentioned it. Just the way you are describing stuff, it seems unreal or unreachable to so many of us. And you being someone who has traveled the islands, I think was it last year or year before you did cricket? Tell me, I'm trying to
I
remember. It
did
was last
cricket 2
year.
years. So Before I
Nice.
started as a camera operator, Chad and Romano and those guys used to let me play with the drone, a Phantom 2.
Right.
I used to put the GoPro on and
Right.
I used to just play around with it and so because I
Long
used to like
time
to play
thing.
game and everybody's always saying people who like to play game could really fly drone. I don't know why, but it's I guess it's the dexterity with the thumb. So
I was a
I
keyboard guy,
am
so that could explain a lot.
also as well like no, but if you're good with your fingers and thumbs, it takes a lot of brain power to work. So I used to fly. I love drones. So I started flying, love drones. Got an opportunity in 2020 to become a drone operator. Well, I was a drone assistant for CPL to Plex. So Plex was the drone operator, the main operator. He was the operator, and I was the assistant for the CPL tournament in Trinidad.
Right.
I was recalled last year as the main operator. So yeah, they did some crew changes and stuff, and it was unfortunate that Plex couldn't make, but it worked out, and I still was
got the
able to go, and
opportunity.
I got the opportunity, and I was very happy for it because they don't usually call back a lot of people from the Caribbean, and
You serious? Why is
yeah,
that though?
I don't know that so the director who works he's the current director of the ICC World Cup. He also directed the last two ICC World Cups, the two most watched events in the history of the world. 1 in 6 million, 1 in 6 persons on the planet watched each of the finals of those World Cups.
Take
So the director,
that.
Gavin Scoville, he always told us as Caribbean operators, he's like, listen, I don't know why it is they don't like taking guys from the Caribbean or something, because y'all have so much talent here, but people don't know about y'all. Like, I
Facts.
don't know
Wow.
what,
100%
like,
facts.
people actually they just don't know about us. And it could be marketing, it could be representation, it could be a lot of things, because camera operators are represented, they have managers, they have that kind of stuff. Like, I the director always said, like, his goal when he came to the Caribbean years ago and started seeing the talent was to just continue adding Caribbean people from the region to his crew. So when he goes back and they say, hey, who did that? They're gonna be like, this guy from Trinidad, where's that? Oh, this guy
Yeah.
from Barbados. And like some of the guys on these CPL crews from the Caribbean, they are some of the best cameramen I've seen in my life. Like, some of the things
Wow.
that I've seen them accomplish. I've
Right here in the
seen
Caribbean.
right here in the Caribbean, like, there's a guy from Barbados, and he's done everything. Like, name a cricket tournament, he's worked on the World Cup, he's worked on the IPL, he's worked on PSL, he's worked on every major cricket tournament, because he is actually probably one of the best Caribbean
Wow.
camera operators from the Caribbean. But like, they have a lot of guys, and thankfully, I see Zara keep popping up. Like, they
Right.
have a lot. There was the ICC World Cup that's happening right now, and there was a bigger influx of operators from the region. Like, there were a lot of my friends that I see working on it and stuff like that. And
Nice.
I'm glad for them, because that's the kind of things that we need. And I think maybe that was because of the volume, but those are the things that I think are going to open the doors for people to just look a little bit more this way,
Right.
for talent.
And we don't know about these
Okay.
people.
That's big up Zara.
Like-
Zara is a big one too out there.
Tomorrow is Zara if you didn't link it.
Yeah, no. Zara is-
But if he wasn't here, the reality is I guess looking onto it, I would just assume that, okay, these tournaments happening, they're bringing in the international people, and the locals ain't nowhere involved. So
again, luck and chance, and a product of opportunity, being in the right place at the right time. So this might segue into back to Carnival and my history. Carnival is the reason why I got CPL. Now you're
Wow.
gonna joke.
How?
Okay, so
I don't think
I
an hour
started
is
my
enough tonight.
Steadicam journey. I started my Steadicam journey in 2019, in December 2019. I
Interesting.
went to Abel Cine.
Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
A lot of our audience are photographers, so when you say Steadicam, some of them may not necessarily understand what you're even talking about.
Okay.
Quick,
So
what is a Steadicam
is a-
operator?
Okay, so Steadicam is a vest-mounted stabilization system. I don't know if you all have a photo that you can share. I look like a robot literally. I wear a vest, a arm, and there I strap the camera onto a what we call the sled. I balance
All right.
it. And let me see if I can.
Yeah, let's see if we could pull it up. I'll pull
Let
it
me
up
see if
on
I can
my
share
end.
something. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna do it?
So
Let me add it. I'll do it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do
yeah.
your
So
description.
I started my journey in 2019 learning how to use this system because I always had a gimbal. I started with a Ronin M, and then I graduated to one of those regular Ronins. Um, so yeah, as you can see, so that part of the camera is on is called the sled. You have batteries and you have to balance that sled on a little peg, just like how you balance a manual, a Steadicam, one of those handheld stabilizers that people would see. And then I tune that with the arm, which is in relation to my body, that gives me, I guess, a certain level of stability. So if you look at the pretty clip, um, most guys would know about gimbals, but I can promise you that a gimbal will never give you a shot like that because you'll always see the steps and the bobs in a gimbal because the gimbal center of gravity is still your hand. So when you walk, you naturally walk with a bob. There are ways to cheat it. You know, if I'll warp stabilizer on that and it looks away, but the way that people get those shots in Hollywood, nobody uses gimbals. I mean, unless it's like movies or R2s, but like nobody uses gimbals, mechanical gimbals. They use this is old school. Like this is where I started. So it allows me to. It's literally like floating with a
Have a
camera.
gimbal for sale now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, Steadicam is very, 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 very expensive. Like it's so expensive. I bought my first system last year, and it ran me $7,000 just for the system. I haven't even, and that's US. I haven't even considered batteries, wireless video, and I'm not necessarily a fan of autofocus, so focus motors and that kind of stuff, having an AC with you that is capable of keeping you in focus, because if I can't see what's going on, yeah, it's a lot of
Boom. Shout out to Boom.
Yeah, Boom Tong, he's going to be one of the best first ACs in this country. Like
what's a first AC? Some
Yeah.
people
a first
again don't
AC
know.
is a focus. So all right, so there are different parts of
Production.
of a production. So in the camera department, there's the director of photography, which is what I guess I would be considered as. But in the case of Steadicam, I'll be the Steadicam up, and then I have a first AC or a focus puller. So he builds the camera, helps me figure out the center of gravity, checks through all the systems with me, and then we run tests, and then he keeps me in focus using a focus knob. So wirelessly, of course. Wirelessly. So in 2019, I started learning about Steadicam, went to Abelson in New York and did a course and got certified to operate Steadicam. When I came back to Trinidad, received a call from ADL, which is Advanced Dynamics Limited, from a guy by the name of Kerry Gibbons. If anybody knows anything in broadcast, another huge
all those Gibbons
in the region.
Yeah.
Yes, Sean. He's also changes lenses. He's a lens changer. He basically handles everything where the camera is concerned. He's the first point of contact. But yeah, so Kerry called me and said, "Hey Christian, I saw you started doing some Steadicam work or funny story. ADL owns a Steadicam. Would you be interested to come and check it out?" So I was like, "Hey, can I come practice?" Because I was looking for somewhere to practice, because I did the course, I didn't own a Steadicam, I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I was saving. And I was like, all right, I need to get into it if this is where I'm getting into it. So I used to go to ADL a couple times a week, 3-4 times a week, and just practice. Spend a couple hours there, go with my C-stand, go with my batteries, they'll give me a camera, give me the steady cam, and I'm practicing and I'm practicing and I'm practicing. That's December. Carnival comes around, and of course things happening. This is the last Carnival, 2020.
Wow.
Kerry calls me and says, "Hey, Christian, we want you to work for Marshall Monday and G.A.S, but we want you to do 2 roles." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Well, I know you could fly drone, so I want you to bring a drone and do some drone flying for Marshall, but I also want you to..."
No, not serious.
The drone flying didn't happen because the powers that be did not allow us to fly at all on Unite anyway. But I did operate as Steadicam for the last Marshall Monday. And that was my first ever gig as a Steadicam operator. So I did that. The next day immediately broke down. Zara was part of that crew. Like, so we spent, Marshall Monday was the Monday, we got in there Saturday, started loading in, Sunday, worked all through Sunday into Monday morning, got back there during the day, started the show, did Marshall, finished Marshall, and while one crew was breaking down, we were going to the savannah to set up for G.A.S. So, but with me, my camera is my own kit, so I didn't have any, so I had to break down my kit, break down my wireless, break down everything, put it on the truck, get to the savannah, set up my stuff, go home, take a bath, and then back in the savannah, and let's go.
Jeez,
so
you think you could do all this without a team?
No. No way. Like, scheduling and my team is the only reason that I am successful today. I have a wonderful team of fellas and females that are around me, and these guys, and a lot of them were doing this before me, and I've learned from them. But I also, as long as I have an opportunity to, give back to somebody or give them a chance, they gave me a chance when I was doing it, I'm gonna do it. And I always also, like, they doing these kind of things without a team, there's no way you could do it by yourself. There's absolutely, you could try and you might get through, but
you won't always get through.
Physical pressure that you put in yourself on is not worth it. We're not here to kill ourselves. We're here to do what we do because we love it. We're not here to do it because we want to die. We want to enjoy it. So the people that are around you on your team is that's been tantamount to my success in the industry, and I wouldn't have been here without any of the people that I've called, like, especially as I always keep saying, Manu, Flex, Mervin, like Aaron Karut, like, these guys are some of the guys that have been very, 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 very instrumental in me being who I am and being in the position that I am today. So yeah, and so back to the story, like, so I started operating more. That first year of Steadicam, I did G.A.S, Marshall. There was a concert that was done with Patrice, Nadia, and Nyla, Citibank Capital One summer concert series thing. I did some operation for that, and then I got the CPL call. Went to the CPL, and now flying drone is cool, right? But flying drone for broadcast or working in broadcast is a whole different kettle of fish. Tell us. Okay, so when I fly a drone, or when other people fly drones, like, most times, like, if you take a drone shot, I don't know if I like that. Alright, let me try it again.
It's over.
Okay.
No do over.
There's no do over, because, and especially with the drone, because you don't have a unlimited supply of power. So you're up in the air, and so I'm flying an Inspire 2 with an X5 camera.
Nice.
So I have options to change lenses. So I'm switching between like a 15 and a 25, which kind of equates to it. So I got a nice little tighter angle. But it's very hard because you have to focus on what's going on with the game. You can't cover the game the way the cameras on the ground covering the game. And then how much times you're going to see an orbit around a stadium? So if you want to involve gameplay, which is what Plex and I started doing last year in the ways that we did, you had to be very creative to know how to make the best of that 20 minutes. Because when you see a drone going up, the director is going to be looking at the drone in the control room and want to know what it is. Like there was a time last year where the director said, Christian, you're doing great, but give me a drone shot I've never seen in my life before.
Jeez,
this is the director for the
That's
ICC
pressure, boy.
cricket
Tell me
World Cup.
about it. Tell me what you do.
Every time
Tell
I
us.
giving him shots and like other cameraman was like, yeah, boy, Christian. They're like, and then
Well, he wasn't impressed.
do it again.
Wait.
So that again, do something else. So and like so. Yeah, you have to be different because like there are only so many times you can't do the same shot because you're also doing it for a tournament for like 4 weeks. Well, 3 weeks. I'm there for 4 weeks because it takes a week just to set up the broadcast, and then
Set up, you say?
Yeah. So, 2 containers coming from Jamaica. They basically bring in 2 containers full of cameras, cabling, equipment, power,
That's
everything.
those guys. What's their name?
That's Sportsmax and Sunset and Vine.
Jeez.
So Sunset and Vine is the main company that does the production, and Sportsmax is provides cameras for them.
I thought it was the other guys and they. Sorry, go ahead.
NEP?
No, this big they do live stream production as well as resale.
Green Grass Valley. There's Grass Valley. There's CVP and there's NEP. It could be CVP.
It could be.
But
could
like
be,
those
but,
they have a bunch of different. Yeah, they have a bunch of
why
different.
Jamaica so ahead of us though?
They spend any money. Like I think I told you this. Like they have all the gear, and
right.
No disrespect to any Jamaica because they have a lot of good work coming out there. But like I think we could push. We could get them a run for their money creatively.
You think, right?
If we had the gear.
Jamaica. Well, how
Okay, let me put it into perspective here, right?
How they get all that resources?
Controversial here, right?
That we talking about?
Real controversial now.
Shit.
So, real talk, right?
Right.
You've seen real great productions coming out of that country, right?
Right.
But how many ARRI cameras they have in Trinidad? How many PL lens sets they have in here?
In Trinidad? PL?
Yeah, like PL Mong. How many people you know with PL Mong lenses? PL Mong lenses in Jamaica, like Sony camera in Trinidad. Is the B40 like even no joke, and them men even play them coming with the shims and things to change out the lens thing from EF to PL. The working on set that I rent the last time I was in Jamaica. When I returned the kit, they were changing the shims and the mounts back to PL to send it Montego Bay to go on the Bond film.
Which Bond film you talking about? 007 Bond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shot a scene in Jamaica.
Scene in it. You watch it?
I just trying to ensure that people watching.
I see the guy changing. I was like, my boy, what's going on here? And he's like, yeah, I've sent this lens down Montego Bay for the Bond film. I was like, what? Like James Bond? And he's like, yeah, he's sending his lenses Montego to go on like they have Allura primes and like the lens just from
just
glass
tell them
quality.
ARRI primes.
Pull us up.
Pull up. ARRI primes.
And this I said Allura primes. That's like their flagship prime. Top flagship. They have
one lens to buy a house.
ARRI zooms, right?
Yeah.
Bro, they have I know a guy who just got a set B of Atlas Orion anamorphics. That's $100,000 US.
But still ARRI
2 lenses, and he has 3. He has the 80, the 50, and the 85. So that's what I'm saying. Like them guys spending their money and doing that is the only thing they have. Them free. We honestly got like a lot of times I've been guilty of it. watching a piece of gear that I know. The Steadicam is a perfect example of it. I sit down, I learned in 2019, and it's
Right.
only in 2021 I sit down and I buy the bullet and say, by press trigger. And it's not because I didn't save and I didn't have the money in 2022. I was just like, boy, if I do this and if you're
You
going
worry
for it,
about
you had to
recouping the
go for it.
investment. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Them men
As
are
the
doing it
Cassia
because
still say,
at a certain,
buy it
at
now
a
and worry
certain
later.
level. Huh?
I say
Yeah,
one of
buy
our
now and
members
worry
said buy it now and then you go figure it out later.
Yeah. Sean, I could disagree. You know, if it exists, there's a Trini with it. It had things that them Trini, they ain't have, we ain't have their way.
We ain't ready yet.
Those guys, wow. Phase 3 production.
Phase 3. Phase 3 is what I was trying to remember.
Phase, that's the region. That's gold standard in the region. Like
They
those
are
guys
killing it.
They are
Top.
big up Garrett Daly. He is the godfather of Steadicam in the region. He is the first
Right.
person that
That's
I
the
saw he's
Rasta who have it
operated.
pull up. He always pull it up.
Garrett
Yeah.
Daly, great DP, amazing DP,
Serious?
and also he's one of the first persons in Trinidad to do an international broadcast. He worked as a Steadicam operator on the last Gold Cup.
And he came
Well,
from
not the one
Jamaica
that
to
just
Trinidad.
happened. No, the Gold Cup, like the gold. You know, they have the World Cup and then they have the CONCACAF Gold Cup. He is one of the only operators from the Caribbean, a Steadicam operators from the Caribbean to ever do that. Like them men going after it, them run. That's the difference. Like they aggressively going behind it and just going in people's face I mean that part of it I can't tell you, but I could see because they're very aggressive and they going on. If they want it, they going after it.
What do you mean they go after it? They approaching whoever is in production and saying I will do it, or what do you mean by aggressive?
Just doing it?
They're just doing it. They just show up with a Steadicam and do what they have to do.
No. Meaning that, like, in terms of looking for opportunities, now I think we are a little bit more passive in terms of the way that, and as I said, I'm guilty of it as well. We have
Me too.
Generally a passive
comfort.
Person.
We wait until somebody offers us or tells us, I have an opportunity for you.
This is the opportunity. I'm not saying that we are all guilty of it, and we're not all guilty of it all the time. But we are very laissez-faire society and people on a whole. So whether we may be better than the average, I just feel like they're just a little bit more. And like when I go there sometimes, like when the last time I went, I was there with the FS and the lenses and I was walking past like shooting. I can't remember who I was shooting some artists. I was shooting Bungie, walking past a truck and there was another camera crew on the corner just watching. And I just say, yo, Trini boy, you come to shoot movie. Because them fella, and that's what them looking up to. But they want to reach that level because they know that is where they're going to get the looks and the people going to ask the questions and people going to be more interested. Like, the biggest question I've gotten in the last 6 months is, bro, what's it like who's shooting with the Komodo? I'm like, rent it and see. Because I could tell you, but it's different. Like, I had a conversation with Aaron Karuta for a while, and we were talking about, because I think I was one of the first to use it. One of. And when I used it for that first project, Aaron was like, yo, I need to see it. And then I got the opportunity to bring him on a project that, I was using the Komodo for, and he's like, oh, I learn more, because that is the man going after it. It's about 1,000 Komodo in Jamaica now.
Wow.
Red Ranger like rain, Gemini rain. Don't even talk about FS7, FS6, FX series, FS series. Like they have it.
Yeah.
They have it.
I
pocket 60 like I 63 now. Out there.
A black magic. I mean, but honestly, what do you think we need to do here in Trinidad? Sorry, I'm gonna catch my tongue. What do you think we need to do in Trinidad to not only necessarily reach the level of Jamaica, I don't know if I'm shortchanging Trinidad, but reach the level of Jamaica and even exceed to the point that we would attract international attention. And we have talent. You said we have talent already. What is it that we
Plenty.
need to do?
What is the ceiling that is keeping us back?
Yeah.
Controversial again?
That's what
Each
we
other?
about. Wow.
So
How?
basically, I think what you're trying
Okay,
to say
good,
that how
sorry.
Jamaicans are more view themselves as one. Could be as more unified.
No,
a unified front.
Okay, so let me be real. I can't tell you from that aspect of the culture, but every time that I've gone there, they've been very open, and nobody in China like when I first went, I wasn't as knowledgeable as I want. And there's a guy that I met out there, fellow named Chippy, and in organizing my kit the first time from those guys from Phase 3, Chippy was like, there's a good idea, but I feel you should do this. You might spend about 50 US more, but that's not been generally my experience. Save for the few people that I mentioned before.
Right.
More often than not, if you go for something, somebody will say, well, I take that, but no, I could have game at a better price. I could have game something better. And I think we hold back from each other as
Self-serving then.
yeah, a little bit. There's a little bit me sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, I've experienced that side of the industry.
Right.
You work with somebody and you think, you work with somebody and you think that they're in your corner, and then all you start to develop, or the person might have been ahead of you, and all you start to develop, and that person start to watch you as a threat, as opposed to saying, well, hey, that person, I helped that person and I did something good. I could never, anybody that ever worked with me could never say that, they ever get that kind of vibes from me, and I would say that with my chest, I know bad eye or sad eye or bad mouth or side mouth nobody. If I have something to tell, I'll tell it to your face. But I just really feel like as a people, we just need to care a little bit more. Generally, we are. And even there have been many talks about forming, we talk about people paying us for we work and that kind of stuff. We can't get them.
I wanted to ask you about that. All right.
We can't get that until we start trying to stop saying, well, Conrad have it for 500, so I go sell it for 4.
Right.
Quick question though, does Jamaica have that type of association in place by chance?
I don't think they have. I just feel like I see it as a general. And again, right, I haven't been there and I immerse myself in the culture. Like every time I've traveled or today, it's because I've gone to work, whether it be for Carnival or do cricket broadcast stuff. Most of my travels have been for that kind of stuff. But everybody that I interact with always works for the betterment of the production.
Nice.
It's always about the betterment of the production. It's never about me and what I do. And the production had to look good.
Wow.
Like the first time I ever see sky panels in my life, Jamaica, SC60s.
Oh
like,
my god. Oh my god.
If you put a sky panel on one, that light up your whole house.
You think we're ready for that though? Sky panels in Trinidad?
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I agree.
All right.
I'm gonna make it happen. If not sky panels, aperture, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is why not? Why not? Like I used to think there are 1 or 2 Steadicams of us in Trinidad. I own one. But before there was one, why not have more? Why? That's the thing. Even so, in 2017, I got an opportunity to be a part of just be as part of a team on a production that Hype Williams was here for. And I was like, he came in with this whole Carney. They had a Alexa 65, the same IMAX camera actually that was on Avengers. That might be on my personal profile, but like that's the baddest camera ever with signature primes, RE signature primes. Like that is the baddest camera I've ever touched in my life. TV Logic monitor. It's the camera. The camera alone is like 60. It will break my Steadicam in half. Like it would. My Steadicam, I could go up to 25 pounds. That'd break my thing in half. Like not even a joke. But yeah, the first thing I asked for, okay, I asked them, is there anything that you all forgot or may need? Because I thinking that I know men in the film circle and I could get them to talk about like man one and fellas. I was like, if you need anything, I could probably get some stuff for you. First thing they asked for TV Logic monitors. I don't know nobody in Trinidad with TV Logic monitors. They asked for gold mount batteries. I know like 2 people in Trinidad with gold mount batteries. like that is the thing, right? That is my point. Like that was saying like men we want to do the things that we seeing them doing on films and that kind of stuff, but we as a people we don't have the gear and we're not trying to make the investment into the gear, and 2, if we have it, we not operating like them. Is still on me. Like on a film set, it takes at least 3 people to make a camera work. On a real film set, it didn't have a man shooting, full in focus, moving the camera. Like the operator moves the camera at the end. Focus, that's your AC. Like you have gaffers, you have grips, you have like it have so many parts that make a film.
A man to hold a boom pole and that is it with a mic.
No, but even that, like that is where I came from. That's where my love was from song. Like I that's why I started song recording and re-recording and trying to be a re-recording engineer and a Foley artist. Like that's what started this journey.
Oh, you did.
So I was saying like
that's a nice.
Kind of, yeah. I started it right before the film thing happened, so I didn't get too much into it. But I was now like getting into. I was building a pit in my studio at the time because I had a booth and thing, and I had a corner aside, and I had my tile and my.
You had the shoes and everything.
I had shoes, so I was just putting in there. So I was ready. I was ready to go. I had microphones, like I had like everything,
right.
like. So but that's what I'm saying. Like, we wanna do things like the real filmmakers, but first of all, we not operating like them, and we not take any steps that they taking. We not take any pre-production steps. We not taking the post-production steps. Like, man, feelers edit through a lot, adjust some levels, and boom,
man,
like,
people put in a lot again.
Oh yeah, well, the cinematic look, man.
The flat look, yeah.
The cinematic look. Here, boy. Yeah, it really depressing when you see it. Like, come on, man. Why is this?
No, I mean, I recently worked on as a DP, like for the first, like I've worked on music videos before, bigger Plex. A lot of music videos I've worked on before, but this was like end of last year. Was the first time I did a video by myself as a director, without somebody saying, well, okay, dude, without a guidance, I have somebody more experienced, right? So I'm not say I didn't do it by myself because I pick up Trey, Team Dean and Shania, Trey and Productions, like those guys doing wonderful things in Trinidad. Like that's why I given the output that I given, because they may not, and that's the thing, like with a little bit, but they put in any work. They put in any work, and that is the difference. Like they put in any real work, right? And I'm not talking about work rating. I talking about like the things that actually the organization, the planning, the attention to the things that you need to pay attention to, from lens choices, how you want to shoot camera. Like these are the things that we are paying attention to on set. And even with that, I was able to share that video with a I don't know if I can share his name. I don't think I can share his name.
Keep it vague.
but I was able to make a link recently with a notable film and music video director out of
Nice.
Canada, and his only his critique. He said his critique is like he's like knowing what you probably had to work with to make this happen. Like that's his first thing. He said, "Good job, loves the song, lit well, but it was just lit." So guys might watch that last video that Trey the Chilo touch and say, "Hey, it's a great video. I have nothing bad to say about it. I haven't heard anybody really give me any bad critiques." But the one critique that I got, even from Aaron and Flex, was that they wish that I lit it a little bit differently, as opposed, now we're not saying that I lit it bad, but it's just that I didn't, and I know that I didn't, as a director of photography, take the time to layer my light and, you know, give it the thing that would have,
I was going to say, but when you think about it,
edge.
You as DP is, like I said, one role in the entire chain. You would have been, I don't know if to say handicapped by the mere fact that you have to do everything. You didn't have...
Yeah. I mean, again, so we were limited by budget, so we weren't able to have as much people on set and you know, these different things. But with the knowledge that I have, that I gained from work, and again, from just continue, you know, doing it became what it became. But like, I always try to bounce ideas from people, and if I have access to somebody who really doing it, I will just ask them, and I'm not gonna like bring me down or make me feel like, oh, I'm just gonna use that as, all right, that's where I did it wrong this time. So the next time I have the opportunity, so I'm excited as hell to do whatever my next music video project is, because I do a lot of corporate work, but I like doing creative. So if all the while I'm a steady cam operator.
Put in the plug.
But yeah,
CV on Instagram.
I think is really about, we just need to start taking these steps to just take a little more time to plan your shoots, guys, and knowing, I mean, even if you're trying to run and gun something, like, there are certain things that you can control. Don't go in there blind. Know where you're going. Go with a purpose. Like, that's some of the things that, and I see the craziness, and like, I've been on sets where like things just started to go mad, and I sincerely had to be like, whoa, stop, hold on, guys. Let's think this. What do we want to achieve? Okay, what's the best way to achieve it? Slow it down. Like, we get hype as a people. We get real hype in the moment, and you know,
animated.
Wow. Christian, again, 1 hour is definitely not enough. I think we could do probably like a part 4 in this. But still, unfortunately, we don't want to run too
Carnival.
much. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I wanted to get back to it. At least, what do you think about this year? Go ahead, Randy. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Coming back next week, you know, get part 2. Because I mean, boy, we only scratch the surface. We ain't dig deep into nothing yet. You understand? As Sean say, even though this is out of my depth, it's like your brain going with ideas flowing. Like, you know, you gotta raise the bar, you gotta raise the standard, and there's more you can do than simply what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah. Carnival 2022. What do you think? Is it?
I sorry to say, boy, became generally disinterested.
Wow.
In Carnival. For maybe after the last, it was because of what happened. I had a very hectic season, and I didn't stop. I worked with Problem Child as his BTS cinematographer, videographer.
Bad boy.
Nice.
Yeah, and he did 92 events, and I did 64 of them with him. So it was a rough Carnival. So I think I was sour from that. So that's my last Carnival experience. So, but Carnival 2022, bro, real talk, like, I respect the government for trying,
Right. We need the money.
but it's not it. It's
Uh-huh.
not
You
it.
don't think it's
It's
gonna
not
be a
it.
shadow?
It is. I haven't got no call for any jobs
Hmm.
for Carnival. I did.
That says a lot.
I worked with Pretty last year, and I
Right.
did like 4 shows. I did G.A.S, I did Pretty, I did wrote humor wrote to stage, and I did like and as a steady
Mm-hmm.
come up. That is not even other jobs are just up as a regular up. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I haven't gotten called for a job, and Carnival is technically done. If we were in our regular Carnival season, Carnival done. Like we have 2 more weeks towards Carnival. Is what they would
Jeez,
consider
man.
Carnival. Saturday is
Yeah.
in like 2 or 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Um, anything you think they could have done to improve, or what they could have done to fix the carnival? Is it
Unfortunately, we
fixable?
are of the times that we are living in. Our country, as I said, we are very we social and laissez-faire, and we like to lie, man.
Yeah.
So we would have needed interaction, and we've been lacking social interaction for a very long time. And I
Right.
think that's the thing that we're gonna be missing the most
Mm-hmm.
from it. So as I said, respected them for trying, but I do feel as a whole our people, this is what we need. I think the money that could have been spent to maybe boosting up the health sector. I would have rather that than try to give me a fake carnival. From
Gotcha.
from my word, with all due respect, like
Yeah.
there's no as a creative that
Right.
in Carnival on the front and back end,
Mm-hmm.
because of my actual involvement in Carnival, like as a media provider for a Carnival band, I there's nothing for me to do, and like there's from a business standpoint, there's nothing for the businesses to do. So like what the government doing only benefits the people that can reach to that point, and yes,
It's a select
Carnival
few.
is is a small part of our population, but the people that go and benefit from those events is a even smaller part, and the people that have made that's not the things that they're doing aren't going to fill up a flight and tell
Right.
people and make people want to come and see Trinidad, and
Right.
there could have been a merge there could have been a hybrid type something. I don't even know what it is, but there could have been maybe something done differently that
Mm-hmm.
might have attracted, because that's how
Generate more
we
buzz.
make the money off a carnival. Like
Yeah.
when I used to work on Tobago Jazz wasn't about the performer or the artist. Tobago Jazz was about boosting the economy at Tobago. It was about filling up
Nice.
hotels, making sure it have no cars
Making sure people
in
come.
rental car lots. You understand?
Yeah.
The food woman had no food. Like that is what it is about, and that's
Right.
what Carnival does for our country. So while
Mm-hmm.
yes, it encourages certain things, I think it does a little bit more good than bad in the format. And if we can't have it in its real, true, organic format, or just some kind of ease up,
Right.
it really doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Because carnival starts, I believe, usually from Boxing Day. Carnival
Well,
starts.
no, they work it by usually a six. It's generally a 6 week kind of calendar, which is, but they would
Right.
generally go by. It could go longer, depending on
Right.
when Carnival falls. But it usually has 6 weeks, and within those 6 weeks, there are fets that happen exactly on the same day every time. So
Right.
whatever Carnival Monday and Tuesday is, you could count 6 weeks back from that, and you could tell when certain things are
The calendar of events.
correct. That's
Yeah.
how it looks.
Um, Another question, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking, like you said, so many persons have been affected. Their income from Carnival, I've heard people use figures like 40, some even saying 70% of the money they make for the year comes out of those 6 weeks you mentioned. Anything you could think somebody could do to pivot? I mean, we have been hearing the word pivot from since the start of COVID. But again, if you don't have the opportunity and you as a creative, you can't sell your costumes or you can't you can't cater to those persons coming in on those flights, Caribbean Airlines, or you simply just don't have the band to follow to shoot. What do you think somebody could do?
Fly out.
Yeah, no, flying out is an option, but again, flying out is, so even with me, flying out is a cost, and a lot of the times when I was flown out, especially for carnival related things, it was because of previous work. So I got an opportunity in Trinidad. People saw what was done here and were like, all right, well, we know him, we trust him because he accustomed working with him. So we'll continue with him because we are comfortable, right? And I eventually became the preferred vendor first. So like for me, it's Trinidad. I work with Humor. In Jamaica, I work with Exodus. I work with mascots out of Miami. I work with C4, well, Vibe Mass out of Grenada, and Just for Fun out of St. Lucia. And that was based on relationships. And like Just for Fun, I was with them from inception. So
Right.
I continued with them. Now I may not be their main videographer, but I'm there.
Right.
Right? As part of, well, the humor contingent that goes, but I do work for them. So it's you could, that's one part of it. You could pivot and maybe fly, but not everybody have the opportunity. Like not everybody had a passport, not everybody had a visa. What do you do? What are the different things? Product photography, but how many people go and do it? It have all kind of different things that you could maybe try to do, but again, crab in a barrel. Like we are Trinidad missing 500,000 more people, you know. Like that is a thing. Like as a general population, 500,000 more people could make a big difference to us, because like we could have more people to offer things to, but like especially now in a pandemic, like the amount of businesses that closed down, but the amount of big businesses that still open and they're not dropping their cost.
Yeah.
So and expanding.
And expanding. Like I was blessed. I expanded in the pandemic. My business has actually seen the most growth that it has in 2021.
Nice.
In the middle of a pandemic, and my business manager gonna go through it with me, but like I understand why, because we put in the work and we try to get there, but I don't know if it have I don't have an easy answer for what is the pivot. But you just had to try something. Try something else. And I think that's been my sentiment from the start. Like you can't know if it's going to work if you don't try it. Like a lot of things.
You can't wait for it to fall in your lap.
Correct. Like I pick up myself and I went to New York. That wasn't like, oh, I get opportunity. You know, I was like, hey, all right, I need to make the leap, and because that will give me set my apart, because I was watching Garrett, I was like, wait, Garrett doing everything.
Right.
That I could do it now. Steadicam is very physically demanding, and if I train just to operate. Like I have a trainer that works with me, and specifically for the parts of my body that I need for Steadicam, that tells me that you know, and I do rest and recovery every time I operate. So like,
nice.
I don't even, it's not even a joke. So I put in that effort to.
You sure you don't have some Jamaican roots in you?
Nah, boy.
Our director say no, that's the Jamaican mentality, you know. They train that until it stick. They just sit down and waiting. It's a go-getter.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's that. I think I was again blessed by I grew up around a lot of businessmen that weren't joke. My father is was formerly a member of a board of directors. So like he out of them that corporate world now, but what I'm saying is like I grew up around that, and his friends was CEO this and CFO that and whoever this.
You see the possibilities.
So I see, and the conversation and them they ain't saying, well, I ain't know. Like they say scared money don't make no money.
Facts.
Jeez.
Facts. Say it again.
I feel we could just end the live here now.
Scared money don't make no money. Like
money
I real talk. Like I tell you, like Conrad, you know, because you've been a part of a lot of my growth. I've attributed a lot of my growth to you facilitating a lot of these things and making it easy. But as I would say, like I've tried, and once I Steadicam gym and diet. Okay, I'll get to that quickly just now. But yeah, I think hard about the gear that I'm purchasing, but when I'm ready, I ain't hesitating. I pulling trigger on it, and you know that. Like, yeah, if I was
them
something,
batteries, boy. I still shook on them.
Yeah, but I need it, and it will make my back with money because
who spends $10,000 on batteries?
I'm myself now currently because I'm swapping all kind of different battery and this and that and the other. And so every time I take off a thing, I have like 2 identical and then I 2 different ones. So I had to manage which battery I use and where, and that can't make sense. So I need to go. Steadicam, gym, and routine and diet. Okay, so diet, I actually wouldn't. I don't have a diet. I really don't have a diet. I just eat what I want, when I want, how I want. Yeah, boy. I'm trying to eat better, but now, boy,
Randy, we had to go for Darius tonight.
Gym, back, a lot of back, and
my back can take a gimbal.
Yeah, back and core exercises are tantamount because it shifts the weight from not your shoulders into your basically your lower back and your core. So your center of gravity now becomes your waist. So yeah, you had to move and shim to get on when you get on. Sometimes like it can become very physically demanding. So I exercise as much as I could. So I was out the gym for a little bit and I haven't gone deny. Unfortunately, for personal reasons, but I would be. No. I had some serious other personal reason I couldn't be in the gym, so I'll be returning soon.
Understand?
Because I want to start back practice. I want to get back in the rig and get some stuff going.
What are we doing?
Especially with some new things coming.
Anybody, any comments? If you all have your questions, I mean, we had to start wrapping it up.
Well, a man say who spends 10K on batteries is a man who making 100K on what the battery running.
Boy, I still waiting to see the return on that investment. You sound
like Conrad there, boy.
but
you know what? Buy it. It don't matter.
I am the happiest in my vest. Like I am the happiest behind a camera or when I have on my vest and I move in, and like when I recently got I worked on the last Steadicam job that I did was the Answer Awards that they did.
I have to share that. That was on whose profile?
That was with Stephen Taylor.
Stephen profile? Let me see if I pull it up. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I did the Answer. I did some work as a Steadicam operator with the Answer Awards. Great team operators as well. Stephen Taylor as the director. Sandeep did some work as well there.
Sandeep is our boss.
Rankin was on Crane. Boom, my first AC extraordinaire.
Nice.
Mustafa from Adverb Media, he was one of the operators as well. This guy, Nick, like, tomorrow, Zara know me, and my vest and my shorts, but I wear that size. I don't because I sweat like crazy. But like, when I finished work, like, it was a lot of work. A lot of work on the Answer Awards, battling with the elements, rain, start, stop thing, and there's an orchestra, and then the orchestra, I had to fit myself in between our orchestra, and like, it's a lot of work, but when I get in the vest, and there's like, Christian, I want to take a break. Nah, I good. I'll go in. There we go. Next team. Let's go. I'm ready. Like, the adrenaline, and like when I was real feeling, boy. I real just be in that zone. Like the moment I put on the vest and you hear clack, like is a whole different Christian. Like I turn into super Chris.
Transformer.
Yeah, boy.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing to hear. I mean, again, you have to respect the grind for one, but you also have to appreciate the fact that we have international level production right here in Trinidad and right here, and we have guys again like Christian critical and again elevating the entire industry, Trinidad industry, Trinidad and Tobago industry as well, to international standards. So it's not that we just talking for talk's sake and the usual when you meet up, boy, what causing Trinidad? Why we can't be like that? No, it really have people out there who are trying to make a difference. They're not just talking, they're getting up and getting it done. So I mean, again, if anybody have any questions, seconds, go ahead.
Yeah, the most asking Christian is if he willing to come back next week, because we think we left a lot on the table. How his schedule looking. I'll put you on the spot.
As of now, I'm in the edit space, so I have no operator jobs right now. So yeah, I would be definitely welcome to be coming back. I really enjoyed the conversation. Yeah, y'all did promise me a real nice, cool conversation. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I really sorry I didn't get to talk more about the Carnival side of things, because I have some interesting stories from being following from the artist side, from the broadcast side, and
nice.
managing my actual job schedule, because that's
time management.
It takes a lot out of it, but a calendar, guys, the only definitely, if y'all don't use like a calendar and a written calendar to come on your phone, get a daily planner. It helps a lot.
Nice.
Write it down. Nice. You'll never forget it.
Definitely.
Nice. Well, on that note, let us wrap it up, because again, we could go until my gosh, I can sit down here and just listen to these stories. Phil, good night.
Finally,
Phil,
you miss it later.
Yeah, you had to take it in, boy. You miss a whole gold mine. I mean, I can't even believe an hour and a half passed already. It feel like we now start.
Literally.
Yeah. Christian.
1 yard. Yeah, listen, I'm gonna compile some videos.
Yeah, right.
But I'm gonna
drop it in the group.
Stuff,
we have a group. We'll drop it in the group.
And I will send it for you guys. And guys, feel free to reach out to me at my personal page or my business page at Audio Rose Pro or at Burkett 959. I open book anything y'all wanna ask if y'all, and I mean not always have opportunities for somebody on crew, but if I have something, I will, I'm always willing to help out somebody. I cool out there.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Thanks again, Christian.
Thanks again.
Rani Horn Photos, myself, Affordable Imports TT, Christian, Audio Rose Pro. He called it out the Burkett. He is also Steadicam CB. Thank you. Thank you Steady CB. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And guests, persons in the comments, thank you. Please remember to share. You can't be greedy with all of this information.
Definitely.
You have to share, because again, if we're looking at elevating the industry, we need to work together. It's not about me. We need to work together. All right, so please share. Make sure people get this message. Christian just dropped gems tonight. Thank you again. We'll be on again next week, Thursday at 8 p.m.
On the dot.
On the dot. You see, we're on time. Have a good night, folks.
Take care, everyone.